The UN High Commissioner for Refugees, the UNHCR, estimated that last year 89.3 million people were under its or related mandate. Every single person has lost their home, their job, their friends, their family. They've run from war, from poverty, from famine and persecution. 89.3 million is hard to visualise. Let me help. If they all stood in a queue, one behind another, it would go from here at York St John's University to Sydney, Australia, over 10,000 miles away. That's a shock, isn't it? The real shock is it would also continue back to York, and that's still not the end. The last person, probably from Sudan, would join somewhere near Bangkok. 26,000 miles of people all desperately needing help. And we're not done. 6,000 miles of Ukrainians have been displaced since March 2022. As a support worker with Refugee Action, I've met people from every profession: doctors, midwives, engineers. I've met world-leading physicists and women who have never had the privilege of education. I've met people from many nations with many languages. I've met people without shoes. I've met people holding their portable wealth, desperate for a friend and to feel safe, and for just someone to understand. On the day of the King's coronation, nearly 400 men, women and children landed in dinghies on the Kent coast. Over 1,200 landed in Greece, over 1,000 in Italy. This is the largest and most significant humanitarian crisis this planet has ever seen. It's the tragedy of our age. It is suffering beyond comprehension, and it has no end, no respite, no relief. The cost is staggering. The UK spent over £750 million last year just on translation services, and another 15 million in English language classes, all for less than 0.5% of those affected by this tragedy. A Declaration of Human Rights. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. Those that were not born here are not born into our equality. They are not equal under the arc lamps, the unloading ramps, the barbed wire fences, the Alsatians, the black uniformed security, and to the cries of send them back. We are all not born equal. Equality through communication, communication through equality. This is why Global Anthem was created. Global Anthem is an alternative and augmentative communication system that offers a humanitarian and empathic solution for people who have been displaced, the frontline support workers who support them, and as well as anyone who is wishing to learn a new way to communicate. It's a simplified system of hand gestures that alleviates the more acute and immediate social health and well-being issues associated with displacement. Individuals are given the ability to communicate their feelings, circumstances and basic needs effectively, and for support workers to understand this without barriers. One of the first gestures taught is friend. Global Anthem consists of 36 easy-to-use flashcards in a self-contained pack. The cards demonstrate natural gestures with a non-specific gender, age and cultural illustration. In addition, the target word is printed in English on the front, with space for it to be written in any language, and on the reverse in the 5 most common languages used by mandate persons and support agencies. A QR code linked to a video on the Global Anthem website is for when technology is available. The cards are colour-coded to green, the first words to teach, blue, the second, and orange, the third, and these represent the journey from home, across oceans, to a global anthem. I also included a student learning sheets which are designed to be hand traced or photocopied. A name badge with a simple lanyard, as well as a non-linguistic instruction sheet and a first aid and trauma sheet. The logo and name badge is designed to be recognised much like a national flag or a bat signal, and service users would know they can communicate using the gestures anywhere this is recognised. The packs are zero technology and are inspired by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. They use no plastics and are responsibly produced. The dots signify Pack 1, and further packs have been developed, for example in partnership with the Kiev National University of Culture and Arts, who tasked me to create a pack in response to the Ukrainian refugee crisis. By securing corporate and governmental sponsors, crowdfunding along with grant and retail sales will allow the packs to be distributed nationally and internationally to frontline support workers free of charge. Corporate sponsors will be attracted by branding and the offer to train the sponsor staff in the Global Anthem system, enabling service users to recognise a friendly and safe place where they can be understood. The finished packs have a production cost of £4.50 and a retail value of £15 based on 1,000 units. And as the user base expands, the production cost would reduce significantly. The packs would also be available through the existing Global Anthem website, social media and online retailers, and a strong merchandise catalogue of clothing and branded goods would support this. With the support and guidance of the York St John University Enterprise Centre, I've taken the first steps into creating a Global Anthem charity. And Global Anthem is working with mentors to secure trademarks on the brands and card, and this will be part of a longer-term partnership. The charity, once funded, would look to employ staff to support it in sales, social media, financial and administrative roles, as well as outsourcing legal and accounting. So how can we measure the impact of the Global Anthem project? It is in use now. It was used to support over 400 new arrivals. It works. This lady is from Afghanistan. She never had the privilege of education. For 8 months, she was trapped in a hotel in isolation due to the language barrier. This is her on the 26th of October after 2 hours of work. During the session, she air traced the words. I gave her a pen and a post-it note, and she wrote for the first time in English, possibly her first ever taught lesson, by copying the flashcard. By the 7th of December, after around 10 hours of tuition, she is now teaching the gestures here at York St John's to North Yorkshire police officers. Valentina is from Ukraine and arrived here about 6 weeks ago. She has no English whatsoever and comes from the eastern part of the war zone. By the second week of working with my group, she wanted to do a selfie. The Ukrainians love selfies. I set it up and she picked 3 cards of the table to hold up. You love me. I looked and I was a bit shocked, so I called over one of the Ukrainians who has really good English and said, can you just check that she understands what card she's held up? You help me, you teach me, you love me. Yes, I understand. This is how I measure impact. I have many more stories. However, the most impactful in support of the project are the people who matter. Displaced people, police officers, media, academics, volunteers, students, support workers. There are people from many nations with different skin colours, different languages and different equalities. They matter, their voice matters, and we can act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. I need help. 3 words that can change a life. I understand 2 words that can change the world. This is our global anthem. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Well done for your presentation. Lovely. I'm going to spotlighted you for everyone. I'm going to try and undo that now,
Yeah.
and we'll go into the Q&A. So, judges, if I'd like to invite you for the 7-minute Q&A period, who would like to go first? David.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much indeed, Richard. Yeah, really interesting presentation. I wonder if you could please tell us a little bit more about your fundraising requirements, how much money you need in order to make this happen, to deliver all this potential good and benefit, please.
So I'm looking at an original startup of around 15,000. I expect, though, as the user base expands, to need more funding, which I'm hoping would come from donations, from sponsorship, and also from crowdfunding.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jim?
Thank you, Richard.
Hi, Jim.
I just guess a bit of background of where you're up to at the moment with it, and then what sort of current number of these packs of cards that are out there, and any customers that you've been having that have been engaging in this.
Okay. Yeah, really sort of good question. So at the minute, the packs have been only in the local area because I'm still working on developing them, but they are ready to go now. These packs could be on their way to support workers in Manchester, in Liverpool, in Kent. They're ready to go, and the only thing that's stopping me is funding.
Thank you. Alex?
Hi, Richard. Thank you so much
Hi,
for your
Alex.
presentation. I just had a question about the organisation in terms of who's involved in it. Is it just you? And what are the plans for that? Is it continuing to be just you, or have you got plans for expansion? I guess learning a bit more about who's involved.
So at the minute, I am a 3rd-year student here at York St John's. This is my final project, and as part of the development of the Ingenuity, I've started to get helpers in to build a business or to build a charity. So there's no formal other partners at the minute, but there is partnerships with the Enterprise Centre, with some other charities. I'm very much at the first step of this, but I do know that I need help, a lot of help.
Thank you.
Next question. Oh, a sudden flurry. Helen?
Hi, Helen.
Thanks for that, Richard. It was a great presentation. What would you see as the greatest challenge for you in the next 12 months?
Oh.
You did secure funding for Ingenuity, so that one aside.
Okay, so the greatest challenge for me is I am not a natural businessman, entrepreneur. And I've got to learn how to work with people who are far more skilled than I am. So that's going to be the greatest hurdle, is to find a team and learn from them, really, because that's my greatest skill. I can learn from anybody and then apply it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lars?
Hi, Lars.
I have a simple question. Maybe not that simple. Why is there nothing like this out there already?
That is a really good question. The simple answer is it's too hard a problem to solve unless you're a crackpot, is the honest answer. For 3 years, I've been trained here at York St John's as a product designer to look for a problem and to find a solution that's realistic to it. However, I've also been in the unique position where I'm working with displaced people here at the university. So when I first got involved at the start of the Ukrainian crisis, I sat and watched 100 Ukrainians and 30 other people from around the world not being able to communicate with 4 support workers. And I could sit there and go, watch everybody using basic pointing to communicate. And I just looked at it and thought, all we need is one universal set of pointing. The answer to this problem is one universal global set of pointing. And it's taken a year of my life to get it so that it's viable. You know, developing the gestures was one stage, and you know, looking into sign languages, you realise that all the sign languages don't communicate with each other. Then going further back and looking at the root, you know, it's taken a lot of work to get to this point, and you've got to be involved with the people who need it. Sorry, I went on a little bit long there. Yeah, as you can tell, I really care about this. Yeah.
Thank you. Perhaps time for one more question. Lars?
One more. I was faster. Apologies, Simon. As to securing actually your business idea, because I think this is probably something that, I don't know, larger refugee organization can potentially pick up.
Yeah.
Have you looked into actually securing that from a license point of view, from a regulatory point of view, and yeah, what are the steps you've taken in that direction?
So first of all, I'm already building the partnerships with international humanitarian organisations. That's already starting. The second thing is the sort of licensing, the IP. I've really been working closely with the team here at York St John's to guide me with that, because I have no experience of IP, trademarking, licensing, and I'd be a very foolish man to give you an answer that I'd made up. I need help again, and I'm learning every day, and every day we get another step closer to making this real.
Thank you ever so much. That brings us to the end of the Q&A period. Judges, please join me in thanking Richard and Global Anthem.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard.
No, thank you. Thank you all for listening. And the opportunity to be here is just amazing. And if I can just say, at the other side of the room in there are some of the people who we've been working and helping, and you know, it's just fantastic opportunity just to be able even in this place. So thank you.
Thank you ever so much. You can relax now.
Yeah.
And celebrate all together.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Be in touch with the outcome.
Yeah.
Feel free to depart the call whenever you're ready.
All right. Thank you very much.